Husker Sports Network programming begins in 3 minutes. Husker Sports Network programming begins in 2 minutes. And this is our final time check. The network will go silent for the final 1 minute. Husker Sports Network programming begins in 1 minute.
Welcome to Sports Nightly. It is hour number 1 with Jessica Coody. I'm Bill Dolman. So great to have you with us. It is July 14th, 2021. And here is today's sports headline. Feeding Nebraska has gone back to its past and hired Trev Alberts to be the Huskers athletic director and take the program into the future.
It's having all of the right qualities. As we went through this process, there was one potential candidate who emerged that checked all of our boxes as having all of the right qualities to be the next athletic director here at the University of Nebraska. Trev knows what it means to put everything you've got into competition and to succeed at the highest levels. He's first and foremost student-athlete focused, and that's at the center of his attention, both in the arena, in competition, on the field, in the classrooms, academically, and in life. He's a game changer.
And that is today's headline.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time.
Little chopper, right back to Schwellenbach, throws to first, in time. Huskers make it 9 in a row as they take game 1. A terrific pitching performance on both sides for Nebraska. Povich, Buns, Schwellenbach combine on the shutout. Povich gets the win. Schwellenbach his 8th save, and Nebraska takes game 1 of this series, a final of 1-0.
Povich was as good as I've ever seen him today. The fastball had life to it. The changeup had a lot of late life to it as well. Looking the same out of the hand. He threw the curveball, the slider, and the cutter. I mean, he threw 5 different pitches today, all for strikes. Very competitive, looked like an ace, and we needed every bit of it today.
Sports Nightly is brought to you by the Nebraska Department of Transportation Highway Safety Office, who reminds you to buckle up and put the phone down. Here are your hosts, Jessica Coody and Bill Dolman, on the Huskers Radio Network.
Well, what a Wednesday and what a show we've got coming up for you today. Alongside Bill Dolman, I am Jessica Coody, and welcome into a special edition of Sports Nightly. As you heard it, the big news of the day, there is a new athletic director here at the University of Nebraska, and it is Trev Alberts, former All-American, the Butkus winner, and was most recently the athletic director at UNO, and today he takes over the reins as the leader here at Nebraska. Big show, as we're going to hear from Trev coming up here in about 30 minutes or so. We've got John Cook himself going to be calling in here at 6:20, and oh, by the way, the coach himself, Tom Osborne. We're going to hear from him as well.
Little reaction from Coach Osborne, and also a friend of the Huskers and a friend of Trev's, a friend of mine, probably soon to be a friend of yours. Rick Allen from NBC Sports is going to join us. He is the voice of NASCAR racing on NBC, to talk about the days gone by from the late 80s and early 90s when Rick was here, Trev was here. We're doing the whole Husker Vision thing, so it'll be fun to kind of walk back memory lane with him as well today, later on.
We've got a jam-packed show, but we want to hear from you, so shoot us a text on the Woodhouse Auto Family Hotline and bring you more choices in brands, locations, and service. Experience the difference. Purchase with confidence. This is Woodhouse. All right, so we went to the press conference today. I thought it was all really handled very well. Was very impressed from, beyond just Trev Alberts, but just the way the whole, President Ronnie Green, or Chancellor Ronnie Green, and President Ted Carter, how they spoke about Trev and why they believed in him as the leader, and what's to come, and what they were looking for, and the checklist that they wanted in a new leader. Overall, Bill, what do you think?
When Trev stepped off the elevator, I thought he was stepping out from 1993. He has not changed a bit. And as somebody, I knew him back then and I followed his career, I'm a little surprised, but I'm also very happy. And I thought he accorded himself extremely well. He was well-spoken, very purposeful. There were a couple times he got emotional as a Nebraskan, and I can understand it. I could, when he broke a couple times, I thought, I get it. I get what you're saying there. And I think that there were a lot of people in that room who were here in the 80s and in the 90s and understanding what the program was like here, not just the football program, but the entire department and the atmosphere. And I think that there were a lot of people that when they heard him say those things, they went back in their minds and in their hearts to remember what it was like and why you not just did 24/7 here. You tried to figure out, how can I make it 25/8? And, a lot of people really, took their jobs here very seriously, no matter what the job was. And Trev expressed that and spoke that to those of us who were there then, who happen to be in the room now. And I got to be honest, there was some Tom Osborne that I heard in him as I watched him up there, and the way he spoke and some mannerisms. He was very much like a young Tom Osborne to me up there.
Which he talked about, how big of a mentor that he's been to him. And we talked to Tom Osborne. We'll have the full interview coming up for you tomorrow. It was really fascinating hearing just kind of the relationship that they've had throughout the years, and that, they have kept in contact. And Tom Osborne's really been a sounding board for Trev, he kind of has embarked on this leadership role as an AD.
You got the sense that in listening to Trev, and then in our conversation with Tom a little bit, that when Trev first got that job as an athletic director, not as an assistant, not as a deputy, he was going from the broadcast world and making a complete career change and investing in Nebraska, Omaha, and helping to build that program and transition into Division I, which is an incredibly difficult project. I've talked to other coaches and athletes who have been a part of something like that, and it is a tough thing to do. But I'm sure that when he took that job, 12 years ago, he was leaning heavily on Coach Osborne leaning and maybe staying upright with Coach Osborne. But in watching him and in listening to Tom, you get the sense that over the last 12 years, he's become his own man, his own athletic director, probably still leaning a little, but standing on his own 2 feet, and as Tom's book is titled, On Solid Ground. And so I thought that was really impressive to kind of witness and understand the growth path that he's been on and how much Tom influenced it.
Well, you mentioned the emotion that he kind of was overcome with when he initially addressed the crowd at the press conference, and we want to give you a listen to that right now in case you missed it.
I love this place. Sorry about that. Didn't know that was going to happen. I love the University of Nebraska, and I learned so much as a young man. And I've told a lot of people, I've told Coach Osborne this many times, but other than my faith and my family, everything I have today, materially and otherwise, is a result of an opportunity to be a student at the University of Nebraska. I love this place.
And I think we could talk a lot and get caught up in what he did as a football player here, but, you know, we're not talking about that's not going to make you a good athletic director, right? So I feel like a lot of what he talked about, too, and kind of the message that he had today is again, about moving forward. And he has the tools in place. He's a proven leader as an athletic director at UNO. So, you know, he's ready for this.
And as he brings Nebraska and is charged with bringing Nebraska into the future with NIL and all the new media things that are going on and whatever may come our way in collegiate athletics, still the bedrock principles that were in place in the 60s with the Devaney crew, the 70s, the transition to Osborne, and the 80s and then Bill Byrne, there are still bedrock principles of integrity, of character, of hard work, and leaning and trusting on one another. And like I said, back in that time period, it didn't matter what your position was within the athletic department. I was having a conversation the other day with Dave Ellis, the great nutrition and dietetics guy, and we were remembering back that, yeah, it was kind of a funny cast of characters in a way, and everybody had their own, you know, kind of quirkiness to them, but there was still the principles of character and integrity and doing the right thing and working hard and believing in what the mission was, and everybody felt invested in that. And so wherever college athletics is going in the future, those principles in the past are very much at the forefront of how you succeed, no matter when it is.
And it seems like he's, in addition to that, bringing back or, you know, bringing in those principles that he, you know, was taught here and learned here, and it means so much to him, as we heard him talk a lot about. But he is ready to move forward and kind of embrace the new world of college athletics and where we're going, and also is very quick to point out that he's not going to do it alone. It's not about him. It's about a team, and, you know, it's going to be transparency, and he's going to involve the people and lean on the people that are here at Nebraska that want to help him.
And the fact that he was in the media for as long as he was with CNN-SI, for those who remember that, did some work with, I think, CSTV and the CBS family, who was with ESPN for a long, long time doing the nighttime game day show and not the morning show with Chris Fowler, but he was with Reese Davis and Mark May and had great success in television. And that experience clearly gives him some savvy, and he knows how to talk to the media and address
very important,
yeah,
I think. You know, how
absolutely.
You handle yourself in those situations and how you conduct it. I mean, because you are the message, you're the mouth of the athletic department, and how that comes across is extremely important. And I was very impressed by that aspect of it. I do have a funny story to tell, though, because, Bill, you knew him back in the day, and you told me when the news came out today that you basically had won in the butt kiss.
Well, I know it wasn't me. I was just relaying the story
kidding.
that, you know, yeah, he, you know, Nebraska did what it could to make sure that he had he was a candidate as an outstanding linebacker. Let's just put it that way. And he came through when called upon and did his job and did it well and got the Butkus, the only Butkus Award winner in Nebraska history.
It was funny. We were giving him a hard time about that when we saw him. He came up to do the interview, but seems like just a guy that's going to be welcoming and approachable from someone like me who just started within this athletics department, that someone that is going to be approachable, that you could talk to and bounce things off of, but wants to hear the opinions and again, make it a team effort within here.
And I think Nebraska fans who remember him from his playing days in the 80s and the early 90s. I mean, he came on campus, I think, probably in 1988 or 89. But, you know, Trev was a beloved football player. And I think he always did Nebraskans and Husker fans proud, whatever he did in his career. And he has had to make some very tough decisions, and he won't shy away from that either. But, you know, he has grown in his role as an athletic director. But, you know, Nebraska fans love Huskers. You know, it's once a Husker, always a Husker. And I think all those people who embraced him a long time ago are going to do the exact same thing, even though their voices may not be as loud. I think they'll be very happy when they see Trev Alberts on the sidelines on Saturdays, although he might be in the press box all by himself because he said, I just want to watch the games. I'm not going to be on Twitter. I'm not going to be social media. I want to watch the game. You know, he's still a fan.
Yeah, for sure. And I liked when I sat down and talked to him about it, and he's, you know, talked about, he kind of got juiced up a little bit talking about competing and putting on his chin strap, and, you know, he's ready to go and is excited about this opportunity. And, yeah, I'm excited to see what it's like to work with them, and heard so many great things. And just in the day that, you know, getting to interact with him today, very, very impressed. So
Trev Alberts is the new athletic director at the University of Nebraska. And Steve Glenn was at the press conference today. He represents the former players, and Steve is very familiar in those circles. And he said that he has the backing 100% of the Nebraska football alumni, which is important. But Trev was also quick to point out that this is not just about football. And, you know, talked about soccer and women's basketball and men's basketball, and certainly has, I think, high regard for Will Bolt and company. So he is a total athletic director, and even though his background is in football, this is an entire athletic community that he's leading.
All right, time to step aside for our first break. But again, massive, monumental show coming up for you. Up next, John Cook will be joining us on the line to talk a little Husker volleyball. So keep it here. You're listening to Sports Nightly, brought to you by the Nebraska Department of Transportation. Buckle up and put the phone down. A reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Do you want your date to wait for your interlock device to let you drive? Your kids to ask why you have an ankle bracelet? Or your boss to see your criminal history? Do you want to miss important life events because of house arrest? Get a ride. A DUI costs more than you think.
Brought to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Shop with confidence at Woodhouse Buick GMC and find your next vehicle. Our knowledgeable sales team is eager to help you find a vehicle. Plus, get you on the road faster with our streamlined sales and buying process that you can start online. New Buick and GMC models with the features you want at a smart price. Visit our indoor showroom or shop online anytime at WoodhouseBuickGMC.com. Experience the difference and shop Woodhouse Buick GMC first.
Does it really matter where beef comes from? Meet the facts. Fact: Hy-Vee Choice Reserve beef comes from the Midwest, so you get only the highest quality beef raised on family farms here in the heartland. Where do the other guys get their beef? We're not sure either. Get the facts at meetthefacts.hyvee.com.
Back to Adventures in Technology. Look away! A runaway train of IT problems is bearing down on our brave IT hero. But wait! It's Marco's Technology Assessment to the rescue with life-saving IT strategies. Our hero's technology issues are derailed. A tip of the hat to Marco, and our hero rides into the virtual sunset of our WebEx background. For more successful IT adventures, go to marconet.com.
Because Ford trucks and SUVs are built to help you every day, you made Ford America's best-selling brand. And now you can get great offers on the entire Ford lineup. Come see how at your local Ford store, based on 2019 calendar year total sales. There's a Ford built for everyone, whether it's the latest driver assist technologies, room to fit the whole family, or the power you need on the job site. Ford has you covered. Head to your Midwest Ford dealers today to find great deals on the right vehicle for you.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm journalism student Grace Fitzgibbon with Campus News. With a combination of strong academics and affordability, UNL offers an excellent educational value. This year, the university was named one of the Princeton Review's best value colleges. And the new Nebraska Promise and Career Scholarship programs are connecting more hardworking Huskers with financial help so they can pursue their dreams.
So, when do you think you'll be done with our kitchen renovation?
Well, ma'am, the Italian marble countertops will take a while to get in.
No problem. In the meantime, you can start on the spiral staircase.
What?
If you win Mega Millions from the Nebraska Lottery with a jackpot that starts in the millions and drawings Tuesdays and Fridays, you can afford to go a little mega.
So you want us to build a spiral staircase?
Well, how else are we supposed to get up to the helipad? Oh, good. My husband's home.
Top prize odds 1 in 302 million.
Welcome back to Sports Nightly with Jessica Coody. I'm Bill Dolman. Big day on the show today for a number of reasons. Among them, John Cook is joining us. So we said yesterday that we were going to get John Cook. Today we deliver, and Coach Cook is joining us. And John, I got to ask you about the news of the day. What is your reaction to Trev Alberts, a former Husker, coming back to campus to be the athletic director?
First of all, I think it's great news. And I had a couple interactions with Trev when they opened the Baxter Arena up there. We went up and played a volleyball tournament there, and to help get that thing going. And I think they have the record crowd from when we played there. So we spent a lot of time talking and planning that. And then I told him the deal was if we did that, he would have to get me ringside seats for hockey. And I went to the hockey game, and we sat and talked the whole time. And anyway, I got to throw the fish on the ice, which is really cool.
That's awesome.
But that was whatever year that was. I was really I thought in the back of my mind right now that it's kind of a light bulb went off. Like, Trev needs to be a Husker AD. I was really impressed. I think he fits everything we're looking for. And one of the things I'm going to tell him is I think he's walking into a great opportunity, because I think Nebraska athletics with the right leadership is ready to take off like a rocket ship.
That's awesome. Coach Cook, Jessica Coody here. I've heard a lot about you. You bailed on me for the Big Red Blitz a couple weeks ago, but Tyler Hildebrand did a good job for you. Can't wait to see your team in person. I've been hearing all about the atmosphere, but I've got to ask you about your three freshmen just dominating for Team USA right now in the under-20 team. How special is that group? You've called them the Dream Team.
Well, Jessica, first of all, it's nice to meet you. I'm assuming you came from Oklahoma, so I'm assuming you know nothing about volleyball.
I've learned quickly in my 3 weeks that I've been here.
Yeah, you're going to be blown away. That's all I can say. And third thing is I did not bail on you. I was looking forward to hanging out with you, and I loved Western Nebraska, and I was actually out there in May twice speaking and had great crowds, and it was awesome. But when I need to Zoom with recruits, that takes priority. So
I understand that. I'll let you slide for that.
Okay. Yeah, we have three freshmen right now who are playing in the Junior World Championship. So these are the top players in the world. 20 and under is the age limit. And we have two players that have been starting, and then Allie Battenhorst and Lexi Rodriguez, and then Lindsay Krause's been playing off and on. Actually played quite a bit today. They're doing really well. They have a huge match tomorrow, though. They're in a must-win now. They play Netherlands, and that's to go to the semifinals. So chance for a medal tomorrow if they can win, and that puts them in the hunt to try to medal. So big day tomorrow, but we're really proud of them. And Lexi and Allie came early in January, and I think it really helped them prepare for this. And then in Lindsay's, went to Omaha Scott, Jessica, which has won, I think, 5 or 6 straight state championships. So they got a great program there, and that's helped prepare her for this. So we're really proud of them and excited to see what happens tomorrow.
John, how much does the experience that they're getting at the U20s help them as they come back to join you in just a few weeks? You mentioned being at Nebraska has helped them get ready for the Netherlands, but how much better volleyball players will they be just for that travel and international experience that they're getting?
Yeah, and Bill, are we having a trivia question tonight? When was the last time you called a Nebraska volleyball match? Is that on the trivia question?
I'm trying to think. You might have been still Terry Pettit's assistant coach. It's been quite a while. But, I'm welcome. I'll be happy to come back anytime you want me.
Well, I'll tell you what, I just need to throw that out there because people need to know the importance of this call tonight and your relationship with Nebraska volleyball. But to answer your question, this is unbelievable experience. And ironically, the Junior Youth World Championships, which was 2 years ago, which would be 18 and under, Lindsay Krause and Lexi were on that team, along with our setter, Kennedy Orr, who's a freshman here, and won the World Championships. It was the first time the United States ever won. Some great history behind this. Michaela Fecke and Kenzie Maloney won a silver medal, actually, in I think it was in Taiwan. And before that, Jordan Larson was the first USA team ever to medal in the World Championships. She won a bronze medal, which was in Poland at the time. So this is tremendous experience, and I tell you that because you can see those are the type of players that are playing in this event. But 2 years ago, Lindsay and Lexi were on the World Championship team that made history, and Allie was cut. And now Allie made it and is starting, and Lexi is also repeating as a starter, just in the under 20 Junior World Championship. So this is the best of the best in the world, and the experience they are getting and going overseas and playing, and it's pretty cool.
What's the competition been like between your newcomers, those freshmen, and your returnees this summer?
Well, Jessica, according to NCAA rules, which we have to follow here at Nebraska.
Oh, okay. Well, before when you were having some pickup games.
We don't have pickup games here. Our season was in the spring, and Allie and Lexi, who were here, were not allowed to play. So they just mainly were on our B side, we call it. We got some great training and got to play against us. And in the summers, unlike football and basketball, we can't have contact with our players. So all I know is I check in with our strength coach to make sure everybody's showing up. And we don't really do much with them in the summer, but we're looking forward to, we start August 9th, and we're going to have some serious competition going on. It's going to be fun. And just pretty much every position, there's going to be some serious competition.
Edge is the word, right? Bringing the edge back?
Yeah, MOAS with an E. That means the mother of all summers with an edge, and kind of our theme. But we felt like last year was really a I don't want to say a wasted year, but compared to what we're used to, it was a big disappointment with COVID, all the start stops. We never really could train them like we normally do. And Nebraska volleyball is legendary for our program in the summers and preparing our players for a fall season, and our year-round program of helping them get stronger, faster, jumping higher. And it's been such a long, time without being able to stay in our routine. And this summer, we're finally back into a normal summer of preparing. We go 9 weeks to prepare for the season. And so it's been great for our players, and our strength coach is very happy because, he's got them and he can really work with them. And Brian Committa has done an amazing job. He's trained, Olympic volleyball players, All-Americans, Jordan Burroughs, gold medalist in track. So he's done a great job, and I know he's really happy that he has him for this entire summer now.
Only in Nebraska would we be talking about the Under-20 World Volleyball Championships ahead of 3 Huskers playing in the Olympics in the coming weeks in Tokyo. And John, the United States is ranked number 1 in the world, trying to win the elusive gold medal. The Nebraska brand globally is unlike any other. How proud of you are you of your Huskers who will be playing for the Team USA in the Olympics?
Well, I want to give Jessica a little history lesson here because I'm trying to educate on Nebraska volleyball. So the Junior World Championships and the Olympics, only 12 players are selected on both those teams, and we have a state of 1.9 million people. We have, and Jessica, between football and volleyball, we won 10 national championships. But of those 2 teams, 3 out of the 12 are from Nebraska volleyball. So you look at the odds of that and the number 3 out of 12. No other program can say that or has that. And in the Rio Olympics, we also had 3 out of 12. So it's pretty special for our program, and it validates everything that we're doing here. It helps us in recruiting because we can say, to a student athlete who's being recruited here, and if their dream is to go to the Olympics, well, we got a great plan that's been helping us get 3 out of the 12 players selected for that of all the programs across the country. And so we are very proud of that, and it's pretty special for Nebraska volleyball.
I did know that, but I took notes just in case. No, we talked to Jordan Larson this morning, and she was fantastic, and talked about how this will be her last Olympics. What has she meant to the sport of volleyball, not just here in Nebraska, but on a Team USA level and a world level?
Yeah, Jessica, do you know what hometown she's from?
I wrote it down and I forgot on the spot. It has like 719 people. I do know the population.
Yep. But you have to say it correctly, so be sure you know how to say it before you ever say it, or otherwise you're going to get lit up on the phone call.
Hover.
Yeah. So, Jessica, Jordan, in 8th grade, we at our Dream Team camp, we call it, she came here and told me as an 8th grader she's going to win a national championship at Nebraska and go to be an Olympian. She's going on her 3rd Olympics now. Again, as you mentioned, from Hupper, Nebraska, a town of 719, 1 stoplight. And I actually, here's a little good story. I actually did Sports Nightly from her house. I was out there doing a home visit. We did Sports Nightly. Back then it was illegal. Now it would never be legal. But we actually did a show from her living room, her and I, just like we are tonight, while I was doing a home visit out there. And anyway, she's 34 years old, playing her 3rd Olympics. She's just an amazing role model. She's told me her dreams to come back here and coach someday. And anyway, we're just it's just an awesome story of one of many for Nebraska volleyball.
And there will be many, many more Olympians in the years to come. And of course, you have your red-white scrimmage coming up in August, and tickets go on sale tomorrow. HuskersOnline.com/tickets. They are $10, and that will be a hot ticket as well. John, thank you so much for taking time to join us. I appreciate it, and I do remember the days when there was a young assistant coach who came in from San Diego helping a young broadcaster get ready for Nebraska-Stanford volleyball in 1989, and you were my go-to guy, and I appreciate everything you did for me then, and I appreciate you coming on the show and joining us tonight.
Oh, it's fun. Thanks for having me. And Jessica, welcome. And Bill, good to talk to you again. And we're excited for the red-white. It's been a long time since we played in front of a crowd. And I feel like, last time we had that 2 years ago, Jessica, we sold it out. And we just got to, the problem is nobody knows who to root for. So we got to figure that out.
Thank you so much. And I even appreciate you giving me a hard time. So I'll look forward to having you on the show again, and I'll be ready next time.
Okay, there's more. Yeah, I got more where that came from. So good talk.
Go Padres.
Okay, that's right. Thanks.
All right, that's John Cook on Sports Nightly. Thanks for joining us, John. We'll take a break and come back with more right after this.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm journalism student Grace Fitzgibbon with Campus News. On May 7th and 8th, Nebraska celebrated its largest May graduating class in university history. 3,594 degrees were awarded to Nebraska graduates in ceremonies at Pinnacle Bank Arena and Memorial Stadium. Along with receiving their diplomas, graduates also heard inspiring speeches from notable Nebraskans, including legendary coach Tom Osborne.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Still waiting for your stimulus check? Don't wait for the government. Get the SOS stimulus package right now. For a limited time, get $2,000 off a qualifying York system. York products are all proudly made in the USA. Call SOS, a trustworthy company since 1950. SOS is a family-owned third-generation company. Get you and the loved ones comfortable again with SOS.
SOS to the rescue. SOS. SOS.
Stadium seats may have been replaced with recliners. Tailgates outside the stadium may have been swapped for the ones in the backyard, and thousands of screaming fans have been replaced by one screaming baby. The only thing that hasn't changed is us, watching the game together.
It's game time, baby.
Show off your Husker team spirit during your next virtual watch party. Visit Cox.com/Huskers to take a selfie with Herbie. And don't forget to share. Watch together, cheer together, take a selfie together, even if you're not actually together. Cox, bringing us closer.
If there's one thing that you can count on every spring, it's that we're going to have to deal with some hail. J-Tech Construction is the company to call to make it right again. J-Tech Construction specializes in siding, roofing, windows, and gutters, even solar. They're trained for insurance claims assistance, and they can help with your insurance company. Turn to the team the Huskers turn to, J-Tech Construction. Use your favorite search engine to find J-Tech Construction online and schedule a free estimate today.
When you're prepared for life, you get more out of life. When you're prepared, you spend less time worrying and more time doing the things you love. How prepared are you? When you're ready to find out, Emeritus is ready to help. First, we get to know you. Then we make a plan together, one that lets you enjoy today and prepare for tomorrow. That's what we call fulfilling life. Emeritus, insurance, employee benefits, financial services.
There's no better way to support your Huskers than becoming a season ticket holder. And a limited number of Nebraska football season tickets are on sale now. Secure your seat in Memorial Stadium for head coach Scott Frost's fourth season at the helm as the Huskers play host to Buffalo, Michigan, Ohio State, Iowa, and more. Now is your chance to become part of the storied tradition that is Husker football. To purchase season tickets, call 1-800-8-BIG-RED.
Do you want your date to wait for your interlock device to let you drive? Your kids to ask why you have an ankle bracelet? Or your boss to see your criminal history? Do you want to miss important life events because of house arrest? Get a ride. A DUI costs more than you think.
Brought to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
And welcome back to Sports Nightly alongside Bill Dolman. I'm Jessica Coody. Well, my first interaction with Coach Cook did not disappoint, Bill.
He was in a playful mood. Clearly, it's not in season right now. Not that he'd be in a bad mood during the season, but his Padres are doing well. His grandson's doing well. So, yeah, he's doing okay for himself.
And you heard him when you asked him about, Trev Alberts and the hire, and he said that he's a right man for the job and had a great story about him getting some rinkside seats and just very happy with, Trev taking over the leadership role here.
And nothing says friendship between two guys like that than letting one guy throw the fish on the ice than, at your hockey arena. Yeah, John obviously is well respected in all corners of this state and in volleyball and certainly just in coaching circles in general. And for Trev to have that kind of support and, for John to have those comments tonight on the night that Trev has been named the athletic director of Nebraska, that should give Nebraska fans everywhere, something to think about in terms of where this program is going and how important and how good this hire is.
And earlier, just after the press conference, I had a chance to sit down and talk a little bit longer with Trev Alberts. So we will send you down and let you listen to that right now. Well, Trev Alberts, your name is all over this stadium and other places, but you see it today with the athletic director title underneath it. You've been in the stadium thousands of times, but how did it feel to walk in today as the new leader of this athletic department?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me. A little surreal, to be honest with you. Just extraordinarily humbled, and but also, I think, really understanding of the responsibility of this role. This is important, and so I'm really, really excited. I think some great things are ahead for Husker athletics, and I think we have tremendous leadership at the university level. You know, I had a chance over the last couple of days to research a little bit, look at all of our coaches and staff, and it was just really, it really struck me about just how gifted this group of people really are, and just at the top of their profession, just elite leaders and coaches and staff. So I just can't wait to get to work, learn from them, and do some great things together.
Yeah, beyond just your ties here, what made you feel like you were ready for this job? You said you understand the responsibility. Why do you feel prepared to take on this job?
Well, I'm not sure if you ever feel prepared. This is a little different, but you know, this time around, again, it felt different, and part of that's where you are in your personal life and where our family was, and some of the projects that we had been working on and finishing down in Omaha. But also leadership really matters to me, right? And you have to, you know, for me, I have to be willing to follow leadership, and I have gotten to know Chancellor Green and really appreciate him, and I think he's going to be a great boss and great mentor. I also think this university is really privileged to have Ted Green as our president. Ted Carter as our president. You know, President Carter has assembled a great team, and just his leadership style. He's been in some remarkable, I just think he's going to be a terrific mentor, not only to me, but to the rest of our staff. And so I think the alignment was just there. But then the final piece for me was when the search committee put together, you know, some of the attributes and qualities that they were looking for in a next leader. They were really aligned with what I'm passionate about. And I thought, wow, it's now or never. And so, you know, I just kind of have this, when I get myself ready to compete, then we're going to compete, and the objective is to win. So I had to get myself there, but again, just incredibly honored. And I want to thank Bill Moose, and I want to thank, you know, I mentioned the incredible people that are here. A lot of people were hired by Bill. And so he left a lot of great people here. And then, of course, Garrett has done a tremendous job of continuing to move the department forward in a positive way. So I think we have great people. Now we got to dig into the details and grind and work together, and we'll have some fun trying to do some great things.
You mentioned Ted Carter. He talked about your leadership skills. What do you feel like makes you an effective leader?
Well, I'm not sure that I am all the time, but no, I am who I am. You know, I hope to be authentic, and you know, I've learned a lot. I got a long way to go, and I'm going to continue to learn. But you know, I think I've learned about a little bit about humility, and you know, reaching out and searching for mentors. And what I love about Nebraska is there are so many accomplished, incredible people in this state, and they want to help. And if you are willing to listen, and you're willing to invite them in, and you're secure enough, they'll change your world. And they have for me, they have in my past job, and I think they will for us here too. And I'm excited about that.
A lot of athletic directors don't have the kind of ties to their program that you do to Nebraska, and you kind of got emotional talking about it today. How do you feel like that will help you lead this athletic department?
Well, I didn't know that was going to happen, and frankly, my kids are going to make so much fun of me, and maybe some of my former teammates. But, you know, I think jobs like this is a passion project. When you really think about it, I mean, this is, you know, for Nebraska. I mean, we've got some built-in advantages here. We've got some challenges, right? But there are opportunities if you have a group of people that this place really means something. And so I mean, I just my love of this place. I had the most amazing student-athlete experience that you could ever imagine. This place exists to serve young people, and they do it at a high level. And I always remind myself, none of us have a job if it wasn't for the student athletes. And so my experience here from people that are still even here was so remarkable, and I would have never left unless the NCAA, said you can't play more than 4 years. I'd still be here, probably not able to play anymore. But I just love this place because of what it's done for me and my family, and so that's really, I think, where the passion comes from.
You mentioned the perspective as a student athlete, which has changed a little bit, and it continues to be an ever-changing world. How do you kind of stay on top of that and manage just the ever-changing dynamics of college athletics?
It's a lot different than when I walked out in 1993, that's for sure. But the important thing is to include them and listen. I'm really excited for these changes for student athletes. I think it's wonderful. Our job ought to be to create a culture and scenario where not only our current student athletes, but prospective student athletes know that you go to this place and they've got a team of people working to help you monetize your name, image, and likeness, and are forward-thinking and innovative on how they can help them build their brand. Because this isn't just about their experience here, right? I mean, these are tools and lessons learned while in college that are just going to be incredible difference makers for them the rest of their life. And so this place has always stood for, being a little different, being willing to think outside the box, having the courage to take calculated risks. We're going to continue doing that. And in the end, the student athletes are the beneficiary. That's our job, and that's what we're committed to doing.
If Husker fans are watching and just want to know maybe what your vision is for Nebraska athletics, what would your message be to them?
Well, we're going to try to win at everything. And I mean, I'm not the kind of guy, I'm not into these grand proclamations or we're going to do this. You probably won't hear me talk a lot about how many wins we need to have. I just think the role of administration is the small fundamentals and details. And we need to execute those really, really well. But beyond that, I think we need everybody. We need former players, not just former football players. We need former volleyball players, former swimmers and golfers and soccer players. At a place like this, you got to be all in. We need everybody from Scotts Bluff to Omaha. We need everybody to come together, coalesce, bring their collective talents together, and help us accomplish something remarkable. And we can do that. We've done it in the past, and we'll do it again.
Last thing I got for you, what's the first order of business for, I guess, no pun intended, what's the first thing you're going to tackle?
Well, I met Lindsay this morning, apparently, so she's going to help me as an assistant. But really, it's just getting to know. I know a lot of the people, but it's getting to know the staff, getting to know the cadence of what happens here, what's the meeting schedule. Obviously, what's the conference requirements in terms of participation. But as I said in the press conference, to me, it's really important to engender trust. And I want people to know that, there will be no secret agendas here. We'll be extraordinarily transparent. We'll work hard to be good communicators, both internally and externally. And we'll be all in together to do something special. So, I think you just have to dive into the details. We won't make any rash, crazy decisions early on because we got a lot to learn. I have a lot to learn. A lot of this I know, a lot I don't. And so I'm going to be a good listener and really rely on what I think are some really talented people in here to help. It's not about me, it's about us.
We appreciate your time and welcome back.
Thank you so much. It's great to be back.
Do you want your date to wait for your interlock device to let you drive? Your kids to ask why you have an ankle bracelet? Or your boss to see your criminal history? Do you want to miss important life events because of house arrest? Get a ride. A DUI costs more than you think.
Brought to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
As the official bank of Husker Nation, FNBO invites you to take the game with you with the free Husker Visa debit card. Tied to your checking account, the Husker Visa debit card allows fans to show their Husker pride all year long. Get your free Husker Visa debit card today at any FNBO branch or visit fnbo.com/Huskers. FNBO, the official bank of Husker Nation. Member FDIC.
Because Ford trucks and SUVs are built to help you every day, You made Ford America's best-selling brand. And now you can get great offers on the entire Ford lineup. Come see how at your local Ford store, based on 2019 calendar year total sales. There's a Ford built for everyone, whether it's the latest driver assist technologies, room to fit the whole family, or the power you need on the job site. Ford has you covered. Head to your Midwest Ford dealers today to find great deals on the right vehicle for you.
Final segment here of hour number 1 on Sports Nightly with Bill Dolman. I'm Jessica Coody, and Sports Nightly brought to you by the Nebraska Department of Transportation. And Bill, we got a couple of texts I want to get to in this final segment. We have Carla, who texted in and asked about the availability to watch the under-20 players at the Junior World Championships, and that is streaming on YouTube. I sent her the link, but if you go to Huskers.com, there is on the Nebraska page, there's a full link where you can click and rewatch the matches that they've already played in, but then also they'll update where you can watch them live next.
And if you do that, would you go back to the first couple of matches and count digs? Because we don't have dig stats from them. And I know Nebraska fans would go do that, but it's like Volleyball Insider or something. I'd have to go find the page, but I'm sure they would do that for you if you need dig stats.
And Andrew in Norfolk asked, what are your thoughts about Coach Frank Solich?
You know, anybody who was around for the Solich era at Lincoln Southeast, you know, for the freshman team, with his time with the Huskers as an assistant and as a head coach, regardless of how that ended, you have to be happy for the wonderful career that he had in 16 seasons with the Ohio Bobcats. 76 years old. I think that probably surprises everybody because he still looks young and like he could do it. But congratulations, Frank, on a wonderful career and that chapter that you had at Ohio. You are as important to Ohio University Bobcat football as Tom Osborne has been to Nebraska football. So congratulations and best to him in retirement.
I think seeing some of the Nebraska coaches and former players, you know, tweet out about him and his impact. You know, Ryan Held said, you know, so much respect for you. You did it the right way. We saw Matt Davison as well, you know, put out a tweet. So lots of outpouring of encouragement for what he did in his career.
A lot of Husker Bobcat, or Ohio Bobcat fans, I should say, Ohio Bobcat fans in Lincoln after Frank got that job. And I think every time the MAC was on a Thursday or Tuesday or whatever night ESPN put them on, I think people tuned in to cheer Frank and Jimmy Burrow and Tim Albert and all the guys that followed Frank to Ohio. So, yeah, he very well respected. And, boy, just some of the greatest running backs in college football history were coached by Frank Solich at Nebraska.
Matt Davison said that he's a positive influence on me and thousands of other young men in his career in college football. Great run. Yeah, I mean, just it was trending on my Twitter today, and just the outpouring of people that had, you know, reached out and commented about what he did in the game of football, but also former players and how much he meant to them.
What I love, though, is the embrace of the people of Ohio, at Ohio University. Not Ohio State or that Ohio State or an Ohio State.
Yeah.
The people with the Ohio State Bobcat program and Ohio University recognize what Frank has meant. They haven't had national championships. I don't think they won a MAC title, but the respectability that he brought, the dignity that he brought, the integrity, all of the characteristics we talk about having been at Nebraska for so many years, Frank was a part of that and gave them respectability. And I think they embrace that, and they recognize it and appreciate it, and he will be a legend there forever and ever and ever.
And we also had a question about what the chances are of the under-20 team, how they stack up and you know, medaling, which we heard Coach Cook talk about, but they got a big one coming up tomorrow.
Yeah, and as I looked at the standings, I believe the Netherlands, the home country team, is unbeaten and in the same pool with the United States, and they play tomorrow. So they didn't lose in the early round of pool play. They haven't been beaten in this pool, so it's critical for the United States to try and pull off that win and get into the semifinals on the weekend with the champion crowned on Sunday.
And the Sports Nightly Hotline brought to you by Woodhouse Auto Family, bringing you more choices in brands, locations, and service. Experience the difference. Purchase with confidence. This is Woodhouse. We appreciate your texts. Keep them coming for hour number 2. We love hearing from you guys as you listen in from all over, and love We've been getting some great ideas of discussions as well on the text line.
Yeah, we had the conversation the other day about great athletes out of Omaha other than Bob Gibson and Gail Sayers. And you know what? I was remiss, and I didn't go back and look for some others, so I'd sound better the next day. But I got to thinking when I got home last night, Adrian Fiala should be at the top of mind. Adrian forever played for Coach Devaney in the late 60s, I believe Bishop Ryan High School. And Adrian was a partner of mine early in my career and was so nice to me to allow a young punk to grow into the role and then to become a partner and a friend, and was on Husker broadcasts forever, on sports talk shows forever, and just a great ambassador, great baseball player for the Huskers, great football player for Bob Devaney. His career ended before the national championship years, but nobody loved his Huskers more than Adrian Fiala, and he passed away a couple of years back, but I could not stop thinking about that.
There you go.
And how great he was and how proud he was to be from Omaha.
Hey, hour number one, again, just flew by once again.
How about
already
your
the
day?
next- I know.
Jordan Larson, Tom Osborne, John Cook, Trev Alberts.
Crazy.
We're going to talk some NASCAR, too, in the next segment. Doesn't get better than that.
What a day, man. Yeah, and we told you that Jordan Larson would be on the show today, but that was before all of the breaking news, so we will have her coming up tomorrow. Fantastic conversation that we were able to have with her, so you won't want to miss that. That'll be on tomorrow's edition of Sports Nightly. Okay, so hour number one is in the book. Still lots ahead for you here on Sports Nightly. Your buddy, we got Rick coming up. Rick Allen.
Rick Allen from NBC Sports, good friend of Trev Alberts. He and I were at Husker Vision together, and he will join us, too, to reminisce about Trev in Nebraska.
And Tom Osborne had some great stories. We're gonna let you hear a little bit of that, but a big part of that interview also will be tomorrow. But it was too good to hold off all until tomorrow. So still lots to come. You want to keep it here for hour number two here on Sports Nightly with Bill Dolman. I'm Jessica Coody, and as always, Sports Nightly brought to you by the Nebraska Department of Transportation. Buckle up and put the phone down. A reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
So, when do you think you'll be done with our kitchen renovation?
Well, ma'am, the Italian marble countertops will take a while to get in.
No problem. In the meantime, you can start on a spiral staircase.
What?
If you win Mega Millions from the Nebraska Lottery with a jackpot that starts in the millions and drawings Tuesdays and Fridays, you can afford to go a little mega.
So you want us to build a spiral staircase?
Well, how else are we supposed to get up to the helipad? Oh, good. My husband's home.
Top prize odds 1 in 302 million.
Still waiting for your stimulus check? Don't wait for the government. Get the SOS stimulus package right now. For a limited time, get $2,000 off a qualifying York system. York products are all proudly made in the USA. Call SOS, a trustworthy company since 1950. SOS is a family-owned third-generation company. Get you and the loved ones comfortable again with SOS.
SOS to the rescue. SOS. SOS.
Back to adventures in technology. Oh no! Our IT hero is dangling from a mountain of open IT tickets, ready to plunge into the abyss of overtime. But wait! It's Marco's Managed IT to the rescue with a lifeline of 24/7 network and user support. Our IT hero is saved! A quick selfie with Marco's Managed IT team, and our hero is back to work. For more successful Managed IT adventures, go to marconet.com.
Experience the highest levels of luxury at Woodhouse Lincoln, the Metro's exclusive Lincoln dealer. Our dedicated sales team is ready to guide you to your perfect vehicle. With a lineup of unique crossovers and SUVs, Lincoln offers insightful technologies, connectivity, and interior amenities, while you experience the highest sales satisfaction among all luxury brands. Visit Woodhouse Lincoln at 144th and Giles Road or online at woodhouselincoln.com.
Welcome back to Sports Nightly, hour number 2 with Jessica Coody. I'm Bill Dolman. It is July 14th, 2021, and here is today's sports headline, singular. Not news, but it bears repeating. Nebraska has gone back to its past and hired Trev Alberts to be the Huskers athletic director and take the program into the future. He's the new AD. How about we hear from Nebraska Chancellor Ronnie Green now?
As we went through this process, there was one potential candidate who emerged that checked all of our boxes as having all of the right qualities to be the next athletic director here at the University of Nebraska. Trev knows what it means to put everything you've got into competition and to succeed at the highest levels. He's first and foremost student-athlete focused, and that's at the center of his attention, both in the arena, in competition, on the field, in the classrooms academically, and in life. He's a game changer.
And that is today's headline.
Coming to you live from Memorial Stadium, it's Sports Nightly. All the Huskers, all the time.
Little chopper, right back to Schwellenbach, throws to first, in time. Huskers make it 9 in a row as they take game 1. A terrific pitching performance on both sides for Nebraska. Povich, Buns, Schwellenbach combine on the shutout. Povich gets the win. Schwellenbach his 8th save, and Nebraska takes game 1 of this series, a final of 1-0.
Povich was as good as I've ever seen him today. The fastball had life to it. The changeup had a lot of late life to it as well. Looking the same out of the hand. He threw the curveball, the slider, and the cutter. I mean, he threw 5 different pitches today, all for strikes. Very competitive, looked like an ace, and we needed every bit of it today.
Sports Nightly is brought to you by the Nebraska Department of Transportation Highway Safety Office, who reminds you to buckle up and put the phone down. Here are your hosts, Jessica Coody and Bill Dolman on the Huskers Radio Network.
All right, hour number 2 on this busy Wednesday with Bill Dolman. I am Jessica Coody. We still have a lot to get to today. Tom Osborne, we got a quick fun story that we're going to bring you today, talking about Trev Alberts and his recruiting story, which was really funny take as well. And we got Rick Allen. You're going to talk a little NASCAR. I'll just step out of the room if we're going to talk about NASCAR.
Probably just a little NASCAR, given the fact that Rick and his time at Nebraska includes hanging out with Trev and our days at Husker Vision too, when Jeff Schmal started that up with Shot Clean and company, and it was pretty much a bare bones operation back then, but somehow we got it on the air, so that'll be fun to talk to Rick.
And to make sure you text us on our Woodhouse Auto Family hotline, bringing you more choices in brands, locations, and service. Experience the difference. Purchase with confidence. This is Woodhouse, and that number, as always, is 402-413-2400. And you heard it right there. He's a game changer, right? And we've talked a lot about what he did in the past, but then you talk about the fundraising and the managing of a department and just kind of overseeing all the ins and outs of an athletic department. And he was quick to point out too, thanking Bill Moos and the staff that's already in place, not just of coaches, but the leadership team, the administration staff. So yeah, it's not just that he was a former player here. There's a lot that goes into it besides just that he was an All-American and won the Butkus as a football player here.
Yeah, and he had done his homework on what people have been doing here in the recent history, whether it be what Bill Moos did while he was here and as Bill has departed into retirement, but a lot of mention about the job that Garrett Classy has done in leading, helping Nebraska lead the nation in the NIL movement.
Absolutely.
And then also the move to bringing the media rights in-house. Nebraska, again, is doing some things that other institutions are probably a little scared to do, but there's Nebraska out giving it a shot, and they talked a lot about what Garrett Classy has done, the people that Bill Moos has hired on staff with coaches, Will Bolt and Fred Hoiberg, Scott Frost and company. And I was also impressed, that Ronnie Green and Ted Carter, when they got up there to speak and talked a little bit about the process, I'm sure there's a lot more nuances to it than they led on, but they gave the names of some of the people or all of the people that were involved in the search committee process and how that has transpired over the last couple of weeks. The number of student athletes and
awesome.
Former student athletes that said, this is the guy, and that is impressive. And you can find them online easily. It's a pretty extensive list, so it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, and Austin Allen, tight end, was there in attendance at the press conference, and he was literally just at that shoot yesterday in his full uniform, going through all the photo shoots. And I sat down with him and did an interview with him, and he talked about, wanting to be a bigger leader, for this football team. And man, what an awesome experience to get to sit on that committee as a student athlete and,
From
go
Nebraska.
through that process. Yeah.
Nebraska kid helping to hire the next athletic director, help select it. That's a pretty impressive gig.
Yeah, so, leadership is the big word today, right? And Ted Carter had this to say about what he kind of first saw in Trev Alberts and why he thought he would be the guy for the job.
I wanted a leader. 38 years of wearing a uniform in the Navy, having flown at Top Gun, led a lot of people in combat, and seen a lot of different things. I've seen some phenomenal leaders. I've seen some not so good leaders. But I feel like I know a great leader when I see one. And we have a great leader here with us today. Trev has shown what he could do as a student athlete, going to the highest levels. Consensus All-American, Butkus Award winner. His numbers retired here in this stadium. Professional athlete. And he's shown that he's got longevity, having been the athletic director at the University of Nebraska-Omaha for 12 years. And although there were certainly some struggles there, he got handed a deck of cards and dealt with them. He made tough decisions and got that campus on track.
How awesome is that?
I was standing for the press conference, and I wanted to stand up a little straighter when he started talking about naval superintendent and Top Gun and all 38 years in the Navy. He's impressive in his own right. The leadership at Nebraska is impressive, and it's pretty clear that that's what attracted Trev to the job. He didn't appear to be interested in 2017. But now the timing is right for his family, but also for the people that he'll be working with. And there's a lot of mutual respect between the parties.
Yeah, and you heard him talking about that in the interview about how important that was to him, the leadership and Ronnie Green and Ted Carter, and leaning on them and being mentors to him through this as well. And again, going back to, I'm not where I want to be. Yeah, that's like the ultimate, I feel like, coach and athlete. You are never satisfied with where you are today. You always want to be better, tomorrow. And he seems very much still like, hey, I'm going to keep learning, I'm going to grow, and I'm going to get to know the staff. And, each day I'm going to be better at it.
And Trev said, you've got to be humble. You've got to be willing to ask questions. You got to be willing to ask for help. And certainly as an athletic director, you need to go out and find people who will support your program. And it's not necessarily finding the big donors, although that's incredibly important, but you have to go out and talk to people who can do what they can and make sure that those people feel as though they have ownership in being a fan and being a donor and being whatever, capacity that they are. Because, in Nebraska, the athletic department, not just the football program, but it's part of the fabric, it's part of the culture. It is incredibly unique. And Trev understands that. And they're not bringing somebody in that's got to kind of figure it out a little bit. I can remember before Bill Moose got hired, I was working a football game in Washington, and I was driving to the game with my partner. And before Bill got hired, the guy I was working with knew Bill from their college football playing days. And he said, Bill Moose would be great at Nebraska because he would fit the culture. And I think that that's one thing that struck people when Bill got here, was that they felt like they knew him and he knew them. They'll feel that way with Trev right off the bat.
You knew Trev as a player and then obviously watched his career as a broadcaster. I mean, it's your field, right? When he makes the switch, which, Coach Osborne talked about, that he could tell he wasn't fulfilled by that profession, right? So when he makes the switch and gets hired at UNO back in 2009, what was your reaction? Did you feel like, wow, that's a good path for him?
Well, I felt like maybe I needed to go do something for service a little bit more. But it does fit in with Trev's personality and certainly, what Tom has been all about. I just saw a quote from Matt Campbell, the head coach at Iowa State, who said, I didn't get in this business to be somebody. I got into this business to do something. And that's great. And I think that's, that's what Tom's philosophy is. It was not, Tom would have coached football games and not kept score. You know, as long as his players respected and played well and played hard and did the best of their abilities, you know, he'd probably pat the other coach on the back and say, "Well, thanks for coming, and we'll see you, you know, again." And I think Trev understands all of that, and that, you know, clearly to be at UNO for 12 years, he felt loyalty, that wasn't a stepping stone to something else. I'll be an AD here for a couple of years, and then I'll go someplace else. No, he invested in UNO, and it took a great job to get him out of UNO.
He said this is the only job that would, you know, take him away from UNO. He loved it there, and, you know, loved the team that he had around him. And, you know, I just was struck by the emotion, and he joked about it later about how his teammates and kids are probably going to give him a hard time about it. But just this place means so much to him. And I asked him about this, but, you know, you see athletic directors getting hired at programs, and not many of them have a tie like this that they played here. They, you know, a lot of them have maybe been in administration and was somewhere and went somewhere and, you know, got the hang of it once they took the job. But, you know, with Trev, he's been here, and this means a lot to him.
Some get the game. You know, they get the game of the business of being an athletic director and what's the next move going to be, and they never throw away the boxes. Trev gets the game, but he also gets the place. And I'm guessing that once they get all settled in their house, the boxes will be gone. And they even joked about it at the start, you know, that Bob Devaney was here for 25 years, and Trev says this is the job he wants. So I guess maybe it's a 25-year contract. I don't know what the contract is, but I would doubt that very much that you would see Trev Alberts, you know, looking for a job 12 years down the road during his tenure at Nebraska.
All right, let's take a quick break, but when we come back, we're going to bring you that recruiting story from Coach Osborne about getting Trev Alberts to Nebraska out of Iowa. So you'll want to keep it here. And then coming up at 7:30, we got Rick Allen that will be joining us, good friends with Trev Alberts, getting his perspective on the hire as well. So as always, Sports Nightly brought to you by the Nebraska Department of Transportation. Buckle up and put the phone down. A reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Do you want your date to wait for your interlock device to let you drive? Your kids to ask why you have an ankle bracelet? Or your boss to see your criminal history? Do you want to miss important life events because of house arrest? Get a ride. A DUI costs more than you think.
Brought to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Back to Adventures in Technology. Oh no! Our IT hero is caught in the jagged jaws of ransomware attacks and phishing scams. Help! Wait! It's Marco's Network Security Solutions to the rescue with life-saving ways to detect hungry cybervillains and stop them cold in their tracks. With Marco's Network Security Solutions, our IT hero lives to surf another day. For more successful network security adventures, go to marconet.com.
As the official bank of Husker Nation, FNBO invites you to take the game with you with the free Husker Visa debit card. Tied to your checking account, the Husker Visa debit card allows fans to show their Husker pride all year long. Get your free Husker Visa debit card today at any FNBO branch or visit fnbo.com/Huskers. FNBO, the official bank of Husker Nation. Member FDIC.
Because Ford trucks and SUVs are built to help you every day, you made Ford America's best-selling brand. And now you can get great offers on the entire Ford lineup. Come see how at your local Ford store, based on 2019 calendar year total sales. There's a Ford built for everyone, whether it's the latest driver assist technologies, room to fit the whole family, or the power you need on the job site. Ford has you covered. Head to your Midwest Ford dealers today to find great deals on the right vehicle for you.
So, when do you think you'll be done with our kitchen renovation?
Well, ma'am, the Italian marble countertops will take a while to get in.
No problem. In the meantime, you can start on the spiral staircase.
What?
If you win Mega Millions from the Nebraska Lottery with a jackpot that starts in the millions in drawings Tuesdays and Fridays, you can afford to go a little mega.
So you want us to build a spiral staircase?
Well, how else are we supposed to get up to the helipad? Oh, good. My husband's home.
Top prize odds 1 in 302 million.
Still waiting for your stimulus check? Don't wait for the government. Get the SOS stimulus package right now. For a limited time, get $2,000 off a qualifying York system. York products are all proudly made in the USA. Call SOS, a trustworthy company since 1950. SOS is a family-owned third-generation company. Get you and the loved ones comfortable again with SOS.
SOS to the rescue. SOS. SOS.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm journalism student Grace Fitzgibbon with Campus News. Nebraska is one of the best schools in America for student Fulbright scholars. 2021 marks the 4th time that the university has been named a top producing institution by the Fulbright program. Of the 30 Huskers who applied this past year, 10 were offered the prestigious Fulbright. An additional 16 Huskers were named semifinalists.
Welcome back to Sports Nightly alongside Bill Dolman. I'm Jessica Coody. Hey, Bill, how about this? So Mitch Sherman of The Athletic just tweeted this out, a picture of the 1989 football scholarship recruits. I'm wondering if you helped put that together.
I might have.
But it has a good breakdown of Trev Alberts as a recruit that says, two-year all-state linebacker for Class 1A Northern University High School. Set season tackle records with 107 in 1988, rushed 106 times for 681 yards as a senior, including 14 touchdowns. So, yeah, in state playoffs, runs the 40 in 4.7 seconds.
Expected to play a key role for the Huskers and become future athletic director 25 or so years later.
Right?
19.
Did you work on that?
I might have typed that up on an IBM Selectric and then telecopied it out to the media.
So you were saying today about how when there was a press conference back in the day, you'd be lugging up a typewriter and...
the games, yeah. A telecopier and a typewriter, fax machine. When that came out, that was pretty handy, yeah. Plenty of whiteout for the reporters when they made mistakes. Yeah, back in the day.
So that's a good kind of transition into, we talked to Coach Osborne about Trev, and that full interview tomorrow, you don't want to miss it. He gave you quite the hard time, which that was awesome.
And
because
I reminded
Coach
him
Cook
of
gave
something.
me a hard time, so
yeah.
we both were given a hard time today by former coach or by coaches.
Yeah, but I reminded Tom of something.
And?
He had not won a national championship until he hired me to be the host of his coaches show.
So you're taking credit for the butt kiss and national championships now. All right, noted, Bill. Okay, but let's hear the story because it's a great one from Coach Osborne.
I don't remember exactly doing anything outlandish or special. I think probably Trev and his family just appreciated being straightforward to them, and we were going along pretty good. But that was in around '89 or so when we recruited him, and it wasn't like we were coming off a bunch of national championship years. We've been consistent. We've had a lot of good teams. And, of course, Iowa was doing fairly well at that time, and he lived right there in Cedar Falls. And so it was very close to Iowa City. And I just kind of assumed early on that probably he'd end up at Iowa, and I think he thought that way too. But things went well on his visit over here, and he decided to come here, and his family supported him too, and so I'm glad he came because he really became a great player. John Melton was the assistant coach who recruited him, and of course I was over there, I don't know, 2 or 3 times to see him, and but you just never know how recruiting's going to go. Sometimes the obvious choices that seem like they're a cinch to come to Nebraska don't. And then sometimes guys that you thought maybe would go somewhere else come your way. And so evidently we played the cards right. But, of course, he was a guy that was – I think he looked beyond the wins and the losses and the tinfoil and the cheerleaders and that type thing. He was looking at education. That was important to him. He was a very good student. I think he looked at values, and he's a high character guy. And I think a lot of the things that he saw here and his family saw here were attractive to him. But you probably have to ask him more than me as to exactly why he chose to come here.
Did you ever think when you got him signed up to come be a Husker that we'd be here today talking about him taking over as the leader of the athletics department?
No, not necessarily. You know, it's that's one thing about coaching your players when you first meet them and they go through that freshman year. Sometimes you just shake your head and you wonder if this guy will even get through his sophomore year, and they go on to become guys that are leading big businesses and doing great things. But I never doubted Trev, you know, in terms of, I never thought, well, he's going to be an academic risk because he was a great student. And I always knew that he certainly had great potential to accomplish great things. I just didn't know which direction he would go.
Well, Coach, we appreciate your time. That was great stuff, as always. I appreciate you calling in and taking some time with us.
Yeah, it's good to talk to you, and you carry the show there, and do the best you can.
I'm trying, man. Bill's a load to carry.
Yeah, control Bill.
Always good to hear from you.
Thanks to Andrew and Mike for leaving that part in. We'll make fun of you anytime we can, Bill.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. No, it's so great to see Coach today and to hear Coach and have him join us today. And gosh, it's been a great 2 weeks to be here, and just so many memories and great people. But you know, anytime you see Coach Osborne, again, it's kind of like that Ted Carter thing. You just stand up a little bit straighter. Just make sure that you're minding your P's and Q's.
It's funny how dry he is, but boy, he's funny.
He is a very funny guy, and we had a lot of fun, you know, doing the Coach Osborne show about Husker Vision, and Rick Allen will talk about that too when we talk to him in just a little bit. But, you know, our goal when we did the Osborne show, 60 minutes. It was a 60-minute show, so 62 minutes was really our goal. And if Tom had to sit there for 65, he didn't say it, but that was just our goal to do a good job for him. But we had a lot of fun and gave us a lot of leeway to do a lot of things, and a new thing in college football, that was to, you know, a lot of exposure for your program.
When I say dry, I meant just, you know, he doesn't say it and then like laugh at his jokes. So you're like, is he joking? Is he serious? You know, and then he's giving you a hard time about, I said, Coach, I got Bill Dolman on with me. He said, I'm sorry.
And then I reminded him that he hadn't won a national title since I did his show. But anyway.
No, that was awesome. So that full interview tomorrow along with Jordan Larson. So we had a full day today that kind of came out of nowhere a little bit, but we made it work and had a lot of great talks, a lot of great guests, and we'll continue that tomorrow with some of these interviews that we were able to do today. So Jordan Larson was fantastic. And
you know, one more thing about Coach Osborne and this hire with Trev Alberts. You know, I wasn't around when Coach Devaney retired, but I do remember reading up on that and being, you know, following what was going on when Bob retired, and it was like, well, who's going to be the next head football coach in Nebraska? They've won national titles. It's got to be somebody big. It's got to be a big name. Duffy Doherty from Michigan State. I think that name was thrown out there. No, they're going to go with the professorial offensive coordinator that really has kind of a low profile. And people are like, oh, I don't know if that's going to work. You know, I don't know. He's unproven. You know, who is this guy? It turned out to be okay.
Yeah, I'd say he was all right.
So this kind of reminds me of that.
All right, time for another break. But up next, we got Rick Allen going to be joining us on the line to talk about the hire today, his good buddy taking over as the athletic director here, and also a little walk down memory lane with you guys at Husker Vision. You guys are some of the pioneers of where this thing has gone on a digital level in college athletics. We've heard a lot about the groundbreaking and how Nebraska's been at the forefront and kind of breaking ground on all of these different things. Husker Vision was one of those, so we'll be able to talk all about that. So keep it here on Sports Nightly.
Husker fans, looking for a seat in Memorial Stadium? Custom 3-game mini plans are available now for only $195. Choose any combination of the 6 games available. Matchups available in the 3-game plan include the home opener versus Fordham, Buffalo, Northwestern, Michigan, Purdue, and Iowa. Don't miss this opportunity to join the greatest fans in college sports and help fill Memorial Stadium. To build your mini plan, visit huskers.com/tickets or call 1-800-8-BIG-RED. Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
If there's one thing that you can count on every spring, it's that we're going to have to deal with some hail. J-Tech Construction is the company to call to make it right again. J-Tech Construction specializes in siding, roofing, windows, and gutters, even solar. They're trained for insurance claims assistance, and they can help with your insurance company. Turn to the team the Huskers turn to, J-Tech Construction. Use your favorite search engine to find J-Tech Construction online and schedule a free estimate today.
From the University of Nebraska-Lincoln, I'm journalism student Grace Fitzgibbon with Campus News. A new grant from the U.S. Department of Agriculture is supporting Husker research in the study of multi-robot systems in ag settings. The almost $500,000 grant was awarded through the USDA's National Institute of Food and Agriculture to Professor Santosh Pitla. Pitla and his team will use the funds to further their research in the use of unmanned ground vehicles and drones on the farm.
When you're prepared for life, you get more out of life. When you're prepared, you spend less time worrying and more time doing the things you love. How prepared are you? When you're ready to find out, Emeritus is ready to help. First, we get to know you. Then we make a plan together, one that lets you enjoy today and prepare for tomorrow. That's what we call fulfilling life. Emeritus, insurance, employee benefits, financial services.
Want to get all the latest Husker news straight to your phone? Need to be the first of your friends to get the scoop on all things Huskers? Sign up for text alerts from Nebraska Athletics. Text Huskers to 83200 to get game time notifications and updates, breaking news, special ticket offers, and more straight to your phone. All the Husker news is just a quick text away. Just text Huskers to 83200. Standard text messaging rates apply and may vary by carrier.
Because Ford trucks and SUVs are built to help you every day, you made Ford America's best-selling brand. And now you can get great offers on the entire Ford lineup. Come see how at your local Ford store, based on 2019 calendar year total sales. There's a Ford built for everyone, whether it's the latest driver assist technologies, room to fit the whole family, or the power you need on the job site. Ford has you covered. Head to your Midwest Ford dealers today to find great deals on the right vehicle for you.
So, when do you think you'll be done with our kitchen renovation?
Well, ma'am, the Italian marble countertops will take a while to get in.
No problem. In the meantime, you can start on the spiral staircase.
What?
If you win Mega Millions from the Nebraska Lottery with a jackpot that starts in the millions in drawings Tuesdays and Fridays, you can afford to go a little mega.
So you want us to build a spiral staircase?
Well, how else are we supposed to get up to the helipad? Oh, good. My husband's home.
Top prize odds 1 in 302 million.
Welcome back to Sports Nightly with Bill Dolman. I'm Jessica Coody, and a very special guest joining us now, Rick Allen, a Nebraska native, a former Husker, an All-American for the track and field team, and works now with NBC calling NASCAR. But if you went to football games in 1994, you probably know his voice from the PA announcing, right?
Yeah, he was the guy. He was the voice of Memorial Stadium.
So, Rick, thanks so much for joining us. Big day here in Lincoln. What was your reaction to the news that Trev Alberts is the new athletic director?
Well, I think I need to start off with scoring for the Huskers.
Yes, love it.
What everybody, I think, liked so many years ago, and I think everybody likes that now, too. But, no, I'm really excited for Trev. I think he's the right guy. I mean, I guess I was a part of that organization a long time ago when I thought Trev was going to get the job probably 15 years ago or so. I think he was in the running for it. And so I think he's a perfect fit. I've known Trev for a very long time. When he came up and was a part of the football program there, we were roommates, and he's one of my best friends. And so very excited for he and his family. I know he's going to do a great job for Nebraska. His heart's in the right place. I know he said that, you know, his faith, his family, and then Nebraska. You know, that's the way it goes for him. And that's 100% from the heart. So I'm excited about this new move for Nebraska and the next start, I guess, with Trev at the helm.
You know, Rick, when you go back in time and you think back to the days that Trev was a player, a student athlete here, and doing so well, you knew that he had leadership qualities. And then we watched as he went on to a broadcast career and was successful. And it was kind of a poignant moment when he quoted Coach Osborne saying, you know, you're going to get more out of a life of service than, you know, doing something in television necessarily. But you know, you can kind of tell that Trev was destined for great things, and it is terrific to see him follow in Tom's footsteps.
Yeah, we could tell that when, you know, obviously when Trev was on the field, he was a leader. When Trev left, and as you mentioned, went to television, well, went obviously pro first and then television, he just has that aura about him that you just respect, and you just know that he can make decisions. And that's really what he's been able to do his entire life, is just, you know, he takes in all the information around him, which he's done all his life. You know, even when he was looking at, you know, when he went pro, I remember being with he and his family, and just the way he takes in information and dissects it and then makes the right decision. He's been doing that all his life. And I think that's what makes him a great leader. He's a perfect fit. His heart is in the right place. I know he said that he's going to work as hard as he possibly can. He will do that. We've seen that with every step of his life, his, you know, football career, and then to his professional career. So, yeah, and I know that Trev and Coach Osborne have a very tight bond. He considers Coach Osborne, you know, a second father. And I know that Coach Osborne mentored virtually every player that's ever gone through the Nebraska program. And so obviously that's a great thing. We've seen, you know, the greatness of Coach Osborne, and I think it's being passed down to these players that have played for him. And now you see, you know, obviously with Scott at the helm, the football program, and Trev running the athletic department, I just think it's a great combination.
Yeah, and he talked about a lot about that in the student athletes, and that's why we all have jobs, and they're the most important thing in all of this. And, you know, with all the changes that are kind of happening in college athletics and the name, image, and likeness, how do you see him kind of continuing to maneuver through all of these kind of changes that are kind of taking place, and, you know, kind of continuing to keep Nebraska at the forefront of all of that?
So he has a great vision. I've always thought a really, really good vision. And he's going to be looking out for the student athletes at Nebraska. But not just, I don't think he's just going to be focused on the student athletes as much as in the big picture of things. I know a lot of schools are like, oh, this is great. You know, we can, the students are going to be able to utilize their likenesses and all this. I think Trev's going to look at it in a bigger picture of, is this the best for everybody involved, for Nebraska, for the athletic department, for the student athlete, for everyone involved. And I think that's where, you know, Trev can worry about the details and look at the details, but he's got an incredible vision for the big picture. And I think that's what right now, this, you know, the way the college landscape looks with college athletics right now, I think it needs a broader view. It can't just be, hey, let's look at what our kids can get right now. It's, how is this going to affect these kids for their lifetime? Because that's really, when they make a decision to come to the University of Nebraska, it might be for 4 years, but it's affecting their lifetime. And I think that's where Trev has that vision, and he knows that. Obviously, he's a perfect example of that. You know, he spent 4 years at Nebraska, but those 4 years set him up for life. And so he's going to look at every student athlete that same way. You know, that these 4 years are, yes, what we have for Nebraska here now, but it's also setting these kids up for life, you know, all the way through. So I think that's the vision that he'll be looking at. And like I said, you know, I'm a little biased. He's a good guy. he's a friend of mine, and I think that he's going to make a lot of great decisions, and I think we just need to trust him.
And he looks exactly like he did in 1992. He has not
he
aged
doesn't age
a bit.
Bill, what's going on with that? The rest of us all look older, and he hasn't aged.
It was pretty remarkable. I was saying at the top of the show that he in his mannerisms and in his speech, he reminded me of Coach Osborne in a lot of ways, and just his delivery and his presence on the stage. I want to go back in time with you while we have you. They're not going to let me talk NASCAR with you for 2 hours, so we'll save that for another time. Rick Allen is joining us, the voice of NASCAR on NBC, and we don't get a chance to talk around the water cooler at NBC Sports because there isn't one. But you and I had the opportunity, very unique in the early '90s, to be a part of of Husker Vision, and again, another pioneering effort by the University of Nebraska. What do you remember about those days of scrambling and getting shows together and productions together and working with Jeff Schmall?
Well, obviously, Jeff, a very good friend, and he was my mentor, and really took a gamble with I think I was 24 years old or something at the time when I was the public address announcer and worked in Husker Vision. But he's another one of those guys who had a vision, and that's the great thing about what I remember about Husker Vision is a group of people getting together and absolutely having an incredible passion for trying to put out the best show possible to the fans that came to any sporting event, whether it be football, basketball, wrestling, gymnastics, whatever it was. I know Husker Vision had a goal of making that experience great for anybody who was a part of it. One of my greatest memories I remember, and I think here's how my age has affected me. I don't remember the football game. I think it was Kansas, but it was a away football game. I think it was in Lawrence. We played the game, and when we came back to Lincoln, I remember we had a snowstorm. And as we were up in Husker Vision getting ready to do the Tom Osborne show, which, Bill, I'm guessing at the time you were the host. I'm not sure.
Yep.
But there was a power outage. And I remember being on the phone, and I'm yelling at somebody who was a part of the university, and I'm yelling saying, "We have got to do this show. It has to get out tonight because it airs tomorrow." And I'm yelling at this person thinking, "Hey, you've got to get us power." The whole city of Lincoln had a power outage. And for some reason, I thought that me, yelling at this university person to get us power because we had the Tom Osborne show that had to get out the next day. And I just remember thinking back on that now, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what was I thinking? We had a lot of fun though. I mean, it was a great time, great experience for me. I grew really close to Coach Osborne at that time, working with him. I know you kind of had the same situation. So great memories for me to be a part of that organization.
When you took the mic inside Memorial Stadium, the PA mic, and, for that very first game, first of all, how special was it, but how nervous were you?
Very. I remember doing the spring game the year before I started, and that was Husker Vision had not actually been put into the stadium yet. And I remember that at the time, Bill Byrne was the athletic director, and when we got done with the spring game, somebody said to Bill Byrne, he said, "Man, that sound system really sounds great. Thank you for bringing that in." And Bill goes, "Well, we actually haven't put it in yet." And he goes, "Oh, well, okay, the guy's voice came through pretty clear, so we thought you'd put a new sound system in." I thought, okay, well, this is going to work out pretty well for me. But, no, I was very nervous. Like I said, I was 24 years old. I was at, the #1 program in the country, and with the fans that we have there and the respect for opposing teams and everything else, I knew that I didn't want to be a part of, any grandstanding or try to direct any attention to me. So the only thing I ever did was I did a little inflection when I did scoring for the Huskers. But other than that, I tried to keep everything really pretty even keel so that nobody thought that we had an advantage by the announcer.
I'm going to tell a story out of class, but Rick also, in addition to being the voice of Memorial Stadium, was also the voice of Eagle Raceway during the summers. And we're speaking with Rick Allen, the voice of NASCAR on NBC Sports. And Rick did a show at Eagle Raceway one night and then comes back to Husker Vision the next day and says, "Hey, do you know a guy named David Hill?" And I said, "Well, you mean like the president of Fox Sports?" I don't know. I'm supposed to call him. What should I do? I said, "I think you should call him." And I think Eric Shanks, maybe, who was the president of Fox, they were they were trying to track down Rick, and things worked out quite well for you with the Speed Channel and the trucks for so many years. And they were sad to see you go, but now to hear you as one of the lead voices of NASCAR, I'm glad you made that phone call.
I did, and it was about that way. I mean, at the time, David Hill was the chairman of Fox Sports, and I had no idea that this Australian was calling me to be a part of NASCAR. But thankfully, it worked out. I had a great audition with Darrell Waltrip, who said there's no Schwiegers in NASCAR. That's why I am Rick Allen on television, because that's my middle name. So, yeah, that's how all of that transpired. But, yeah, most people in Nebraska, they're like, oh, Rick Schwieger, we remember him. He's the public address announcer. But when I say Rick Allen, they're like, I have no idea who that is.
I want to ask you about your experience as an athlete, a three-time All-American. You won 2 Big 8 titles in the decathlon. How did you come to participate in the decathlon?
Well, I was a pole vaulter in Grand Island, Nebraska. And one of the kids that was at Grand Island before me was at Nebraska as a pole vaulter. And he said, hey, walk on. They'll ask you to walk on. And I said, great. I walked on. And after about a month, maybe 2 months, the coach said, well, I don't think you're going to make it as a pole vaulter. So why don't you try the decathlon? I said, all right, tell me what it is and I'll do it. And so he explained the 10 events to me. And I said, sounds like a lot of fun. And so I just started learning those. And thankfully, I had great patient coaches that were around me and inspirational. And it was a great experience for me, learning that and just, being a part of, some very exciting things that took place with the Nebraska track and field team. And so Gary Pepin obviously was the coach and is the coach that told me try the decathlon, and I'm glad he did. So I've had great memories with that. I've been able to experience a lot of things, competed for the United States, and did a lot of fun stuff. So that was a great time of my life. I know right before, and this is a Trev story, and I'm going to tell this. I know you guys are probably pressed for time, but I'll tell this Trev story. So Trev and I are really good friends. We go out to play golf, and I had qualified for the Olympic trials. And I think it was like a week before the Olympic trials. We're playing golf there in Lincoln, and we're waiting on the tee box because the group in front of us was a little bit slower. And so as we're just sitting there, chatting back and forth, Trev hits a pine cone with his driver, and it hit me in the knee, on the side of the knee, and it hit me with some force. And I looked at him, and I probably said a curse word that I shouldn't have. But I was like, you idiot. I said, I'm getting ready to do the Olympic trials. You just hit me in the knee. And I was so mad, I actually chased him off the tee box like I was going to do something to him. And you remember, he's an outside linebacker. Yeah. But at the time, I thought it was pretty big. But I remember that very vividly, is he hit me with a pine cone on the tee box, and I chased after him thinking I was going to kick his butt. But so anyway, those are just a few of the fun things that I was able to experience with Trev.
We're going to have to bring that up to Trev then to get his side of the story, because this is really breaking news that I'm not sure the search committee knew about.
Yeah, hit me with a pine cone. Yeah, I was not happy about that. And I think he was laughing the whole time. So he's running away from me laughing while I'm chasing after him, and I'm mad. But good times. Good times.
Great stuff. Great days. And it's great to catch up with you. Give us an idea in our final kind of moments here. You've got NASCAR going on NBC. What's the rest of the season look like for you? And nobody has made a better debut in television over the last few years than Dale Earnhardt Jr. You've got a great team on NBC.
Really do. Well, I'm lucky. Yeah, they've put some great people together. I'm lucky that, I kind of get to lead the team and just to be a part of the family. And Bill, you know about it. You've been a part of it as well. I think you've got a couple things going on here in the next couple weeks with the Olympics. But we've got 5 races until the playoffs, and when the playoffs start, it's 10 races that go all the way to Phoenix before we determine the champion. And right now, Kyle Larson is the hottest ticket I guess behind the wheel of any Cup drivers. And I'm in Wilmington, North Carolina right now, and he's normally a part of our golf group that we are getting together and play some golf with. But he's really, really impressive. And I think he'll be the front runner for the championship this year for the Cup Series. But you've got Chase Elliott that's part of his team. that won it a year ago is the reigning champion and not ready to relinquish, I think, that title. So we've got some great storylines going. It's a lot of fun. It's a great time, and we'd love for everybody to join us on NBCSN or NBC Sports each week, with the exception of these two for the Olympics. We'll be on every weekend.
If you promise to try to get in scoring for the Huskers somewhere in your call, I'm sure a lot of people will tune in for that.
I think I can do it. If all of Nebraska will watch, I'll throw it in.
Awesome. Rick, thank you so much. Awesome stuff. Fun stories. We appreciate you calling in.
Bill, Jess, thank you guys so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Great to talk to you, Rick.
That's Rick Allen, and we got to take one final break, but we're back to wrap up hour number 2 of Sports Nightly next.
Husker fans, stay up to date with the most current and latest news by following the Big Red on Facebook and Twitter. These social media homes provide the fastest daily updates on everything surrounding NU athletics, including game results, ticket promotions, and Husker prizes. Log on to also follow several sports-specific pages and Husker head coaches. Become a fan today at facebook.com/Huskers and twitter.com/Huskers to join and interact with thousands of Husker fans around the world.
Do you want your date to wait for your interlock device to let you drive? Your kids to ask why you have an ankle bracelet? Or your boss to see your criminal history? Do you want to miss important life events because of house arrest? Get a ride. A DUI costs more than you think.
Brought to you by the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
So, when do you think you'll be done with our kitchen renovation?
Well, ma'am, the Italian marble countertops will take a while to get in.
No problem. In the meantime, you can start on the spiral staircase.
What?
If you win Mega Millions from the Nebraska Lottery with a jackpot that starts in the millions and drawings Tuesdays and Fridays, you can afford to go a little mega.
So you want us to build a spiral staircase?
Well, how else are we supposed to get up to the helipad? Oh, good. My husband's home.
Top prize odds 1 in 302 million.
Still waiting for your stimulus check? Don't wait for the government. Get the SOS stimulus package right now. For a limited time, get $2,000 off a qualifying York system. York products are all proudly made in the USA. Call SOS, a trustworthy company since 1950. SOS is a family-owned third-generation company. Get you and the loved ones comfortable again with SOS.
SOS to the rescue. SOS. SOS.
And final segment here on Sports Nightly with Bill Dolman. I'm Jessica Coody. What a day. What a show.
Yeah.
I've had a permanent laugh on my face, smile on my face the whole time. It's been entertaining.
You've had a great day of Nebraska football, Nebraska people.
History, all of the above.
Yeah, quite the class day for
I
Jess.
know. It was fun. Funny. A lot of funny stories. And Rick Allen is awesome. You guys visited, took a walk down memory lane there.
Yeah, and it was everything I could do to not say Rick Schwieger. And I mean, in my mind, and he was the one who, dropping his non-TV name, Rick Schwieger. I'm like, well, wait a minute here. He got away with it. But he does a tremendous job with NASCAR. They've got a great team, Steve Letarte and Jeff Burton and Dale Earnhardt Jr. And so proud of, the success that he's had and was a part of those fun teams, our teams at Husker Vision. And Jeff Schmall was our leader, and people who may be a little older might remember Jeff from his TV days at Channel 10, 11 in Lincoln. He's a Grand Island native, and Jeff passed away, I think, right around this time, about 5 or 6 years ago, sadly. But he has left a lasting legacy with big screen board operators and productions all over the country. Much like, you talk about the Moiba basketball tree. Jeff Schmall has former students who have gone on at the University of Oklahoma, here at Nebraska, Auburn, Kansas, Illinois, all over the country are influenced by what Jeff Schmall was able to do and the staff he assembled.
And a lot of them are called, Sooner Vision,
Yeah, right.
I mean, but it was started here, Husker Vision, and, kind of branched out. So if there's a vision somewhere with a school mascot in front of it, it probably was part of that tree you're talking about.
Yeah, and Jeff's a wonderful guy, and Rick was playing golf today, and I'm thinking, keeping up the Jeff Schmall tradition, because Jeff always seemed to have meetings around 10:32 at Pioneers, would come back a couple hours later in shorts and a tan. But tremendous boss, and he allowed so many people to do so many good things and put Nebraska again at the forefront.
Hey, our guy Steve that gave us the Omaha topic last night said, great show, kids, fun stuff. Thank you. So Thank you, Steve, for the text on our Woodhouse Auto Family Hotline. And, again, the big news of the day is that we have a new athletics director here in Lincoln, Trev Alberts, and we want to leave you with this thought that he had today about just being in Nebraska and the people here in Nebraska.
Let it be said of the Husker Athletic Department that this place is reflective of Nebraskans and the way Nebraskans live their life. That's really, really important to me. Because think about what Nebraskans and our alumni all across the country represent. They're tough, right? They're really hardworking people. They do the right things all the time. They do it the right way. They don't ever make excuses. Rarely do you hear Nebraskans make excuses. And most importantly, they never, ever, ever quit.
There you go. Well said, right?
Who's feeling William Wallace right about now? I'm the guy in the third row with the hoe, and I'm ready to go.
I know.
Yeah.
You could tell, again, not working under him in a, athletics department in a leadership role, but that people are going to follow him. We've heard that over and over again today about his leadership, and he just, some people have it or they don't. Some people learn it, as they go, but you can tell that he has it and that people want to buy in to his leadership.
I've been thinking about this too today, and several years ago, I was in a Big 12 basketball golf outing, and we were, I think, in Dallas, and it was the Barry Collier era of Nebraska. In fact, I think Barry was either starting or might have been getting ready for his second year, so early on. And I know, Barry didn't have great success in the court, but Barry Collier, the athletic director now at Butler, is a very, very good man. And I remember being in a, post-round kind of setting where a reporter for the Sporting News was kind of, wink, wink, nod, nod about some of the underhanded things being done in college basketball. And Barry goes, I would never do that. And it was kind of like, yeah, well, right. And Barry said, I will never do anything like that. And it was a moment when you could yuck it up with everybody else because it's off the record. But in that moment, he said, no, we don't do that. And Barry had a tough hill to climb at Nebraska. But I just remember that was a real show of leadership in that moment. When really kind of nobody's watching, it's behind the scenes, and he was a man of his word. And I think that those kind of people have been around Nebraska. Tom was that way, and I get that impression from Trev Alberts. This is the way we're going to do it, and we're going to do it right.
Well, we had a big show today. We got a big show for you tomorrow. Jordan Larson, the Olympian, going to be joining us. We got Tom Osborne, and who knows who else we might have on the show by then. But a couple of fun days ahead as we wrap up your 2 weeks with us. We appreciate you. Stepping in. Yeah, what a week for you to fill in, and big news today that you got to be a part of.
Yeah, big news today, and to see Trev, and Trev and I did a sports talk show in Lincoln, back in the late 1990s too, when he was in the TV biz, and that was a lot of fun. I said, did you come back to do unsportsmanlike conduct on the Eagle? He's like, oh man, I remember those days. So great to see him and so many others.
Well, thank you so much for tuning in and listening to us on this Wednesday night, this Sports Nightly edition. Thanks to Andrew Dowdy and Mike Elliott over there on the board. And again, come back tomorrow because we got a couple of big guests for you as we hear from Jordan Larson as she prepares to go to the Olympics. And as always, Sports Nightly brought to you by the Nebraska Department of Transportation. Buckle up and put the phone down. A reminder from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Hit us up on the text line. Text 402-413-2400 with your Husker thoughts.
Does it really matter where beef comes from? Meet the facts. Fact: Hy-Vee Choice Reserve beef comes from the Midwest, so you get only the highest quality beef